to the world without any sort of consideration for consequences.
From people making the news.
If the North will be saved a lot of trouble, I think it is important that they should come together.
To those it affects.
We do accept that there was very bad mistakes made in our banking area.
Behind the headlines.
Most South Koreans are not interested in reunification.
Is the inside story. At this time on Al Jazeera.
Unpopular with some at home, untested overseas. The first year has not been easy for David Cameron and his coalition government. In conjunction with YouTube, Al Jazeera asks your questions to the British Prime Minister. World View, an interview with David Cameron at this time on Al Jazeera.
As geeks take on dictators, bloggers turn dissidents, and social networks root for social justice, governments are going cyber, spying on their citizens, erecting firewalls like iron curtains, and closing down websites. We ask, is cyber-generated change virtual or real? Empire at this time on Al Jazeera.
Afghanistan is faced with a huge challenge.
Relations have gone really sour between us and our allies. We have inflicted considerable damage on the enemy.
The people who make international headlines.
Ultimately, the truth will out.
They want to stop this publication of information that embarrasses them.
Make time for Sir David Frost. Frost over the world. At this time on Al Jazeera.
Now there's one place to discover the whole story. AlJazeera.net/English.
We bring you the story from every side and every angle. AlJazeera.net/English.
It's 05:30 GMT. Hello, I'm Zahil Rahman. You're watching Al Jazeera. These are our top stories. Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi appears to be losing control of territory in Libya. Protesters are reported to taking control of towns as far west as Misrata, around 120 kilometers from the capital, Tripoli. President Barack Obama says the US is looking at a full range of options on how to deal with the crisis. He's repeated his message to Gaddafi that the violence must stop. And in other news, police say 98 people are now known to have died in the earthquake in New Zealand, according to Prime Minister John Key. Rescue teams are looking for as many as 300 people that are still missing. Well, let's return to Libya now, and while the international community pushes for sanctions against Libya over Colonel Gaddafi's brutal crackdown, his son is claiming everything is, well, close to normal. But he admits there are some problems in the eastern regions. Here's what we're being told. In the city of Tobruk, close to the Egyptian border, there's no presence of security forces. The province of Krynicia is also in the hands of pro-democracy protesters, according to Italy's Foreign Minister Franco Frattini. And it's the same situation in the western city of Misrata, where army officers are reportedly supporting calls for Gaddafi to go. Tripoli is said to be on virtual lockdown. It's always been Muammar Gaddafi's stronghold, Charles Stratford reports.
Their hands are bound behind their backs, weapons and ammunition strewn among them. Libyan authorities say these men tried to overthrow the Gaddafi government. Some of the men are moving. The pictures aired on Libyan state TV. In another clip, a man describes what he says are weapons seized from an Algerian national who entered the country with the aim of assassinating officials. The authorities say these are Egyptian passports, seized along with mobile phones and CDs. A man describes information which he says was found on the CDs, detailing instructions about sabotage. Minutes later, more men appear on camera in what seems to be heavily edited segments of taped confessions. This man says he broke into an army base and stole Kalashnikovs. An official from the Popular Committees for General Security says all weapons stolen must be returned.
We are calling on anyone who took weapons must return them to the popular social committees in their areas. No legal action will be taken against those who return the weapons and regret taking them.
Pictures like this serve to demonstrate the standoff that's now holding in Libya. The people of the uprising say victory will be theirs. This is the town of Misrata in western Libya, which has reportedly fallen to the opposition. If these pictures are accurate, then they would seem to bear that out. The international media is now beginning to find its way into Libya. These pictures show pro-democracy supporters celebrating their control of the city of Benghazi, but interpreting the direction events are heading in remains as difficult for people in the country as it does for the outside world. This video purports to show the aftermath of fighting on the streets of Tripoli between pro- and anti-Gaddafi forces. It's been widely reported from the capital in Benghazi that gangs of yellow-hatted militia have been given free rein to move house to house in the hunt for the opposition. Gaddafi's tactics have enraged even those who know him well.
He's using mercenaries, not because he wants to use them, because he cannot use the army. He cannot use the armed forces of Libya because they are Libyans and they are faithful and honest people. They will not kill themselves, because killing their cousins and uncles and friends, it means that they are killing themselves. So he doesn't trust them. He doesn't trust even his own guard.
Video emerges all the time showing chaos and the danger which protesters often run headlong into. Here, for instance, there seem to be snipers on the roof of a building opposite. A small crack is heard and a man goes down, shot in the groin. Another rumour, again unverifiable unless it happens, is that Gaddafi has threatened to blow up his oil pipelines, which would bring havoc to the country, already beset by poverty, and would have ramifications on oil prices across the world. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera.
Meanwhile, a Libyan general told Al Jazeera on Wednesday that an Air Force pilot refused to bomb protesters in Benghazi. Al Jazeera has obtained these exclusive pictures of the wreckage of a Russian-made Sukhoi-22 that crashed near the town of Aghdabia, east of Benghazi. The pilot and the co-pilot ejected after refusing to carry out those orders to bomb civilians. Well, earlier, Libyan state television showed a short speech by Gaddafi's daughter Aisha, refuting reports that she'd left the country.
Firstly, I don't follow these agent channels. I only watch the official state channels. But I was surprised by the number of phone calls that I received from my friends abroad telling me this news. I would like to tell the Libyan people that I am as steadfast as this house I stand in front of. And this shows to the Libyan people the amount of lies, fabrications and false news these channels are spreading. I heard about the news that the UN ended my duties as an ambassador of goodwill. I heard this news and I don't know if it's true or not. But all Libyans that know me know I am a goodwill ambassador, with or without the UN.
As Muammar Gaddafi battles to keep control in the Libyan capital, the US president has weighed in on the violence there. Barack Obama made his first public comments on the crackdown in Libya on Wednesday, calling it outrageous and unacceptable. From Washington, D.C., Patty Culhane reports.
The world has been watching the images snuck out of Libya, blood in the streets, cries of pain and terror, the stories of overwhelming force and absolute